he said to Christopher Lee, he said, "They're the sexiest golf clubs I've ever seen," right? And then James Garner said, "Yeah, safe golf." Safe golf.
Hey Zoo family, welcome back. Today is a very special day for me because I get to interview a very good friend of mine, someone I actually live with here in the beautiful surroundings of Awana in Genting. Arguably the most skillful man that I've spoken to in this series. Russell Edwards, a good friend, professional golfer for 41 years, and you were actually scratch player age 14, which meant you were infinitely more skillful at 14 than I am at 38.
I am now.
So Russell, first of all, how are you? And second of all, how did you get into golf?
I got into golf through a very strange situation. I tell you, when I was young, I didn't want to play golf at all. My dad bought me a set of clubs when I was 6, and I didn't use them until I was 7.5. And I started using them because basically I love sport, and it was the only thing I could do without anybody else doing it. So I started hitting the ball, and it was probably the only sport I couldn't do. You know, I could do every other sport, but I couldn't play golf. So I ended up being a golf pro. Very strange.
I wish I could turn a profession into everything I can't do. There's a huge list of things that I can't do.
Well, it's been a lot of sweat and tears, right? Back then there was no video cameras, no help, right? The first golf course I played on was up in North Wales. It was a 9-hole course on the top of a mountain with sheep. The sheep were just watching me every day going out to the golf course. It's quite funny.
You told me something fascinating before, that obviously nowadays we learn everything from YouTube, we watch TV channels, there's golf TV, etc. But you learn from books. So you basically tutored yourself.
Yeah, it's correct. Well, you know, back then there were no video cameras, just cameras. You take the odd picture, but that was it. So it's just good or bad. I mean, I would love to have the knowledge I have now, but back then, but you know, everyone was the same, and there were still great golfers back then too. So I saw an interview with Retief Goosen, who just became a Hall of Fame player. Same thing. He looked at Jack Nicklaus's book, turned into U.S. Open champion. So it can work.
But your golf has taken you all around the world. I know you've told me some great stories from Monte Carlo to Las Vegas to Palm Springs. Tell me some of the places you've been a golfer and some of your best memories.
I remember when I moved out of the UK, I was 21, I went to Vienna. Vienna is a beautiful city. I mean, Vienna is just like, I don't know why people don't go there on holiday, because there's so much to do in Vienna. It's just a fantastic town. So I really enjoyed Vienna. And after Vienna, I went to Kitzbühel, a ski resort. Great fun too. You know, skiing in the winter, golf in the summer. It was a good life. You know, when you're a young boy, it's great fun. And then, basically all over Europe. I was in Monte Carlo, I was in Berlin, Munich, Venice. So then I went off to America. So I've been like a golf gypsy. Yeah, that's the only way you can describe it, right? But it's been great fun. Everywhere I've been, there's always been, a great experience. I mean, I've been in Malaysia now 10 years. It's been a great time too, So I've been very lucky. Golf's taken me all around the world, So there's not many jobs where you can take your job everywhere and still make a good living, huh?
The inevitable question that everyone's going to want me to ask you is, have you ever got a hole in one?
Actually, yeah, I've been lucky. I've had 5.
5 holes in one.
Well, 5 is, it sounds like a lot, but you get the guys on tour, they've had 30 or 40. They're that good, So I think Colin Montgomery's had like 40. So it's 5 is good. I'm quite happy with 5. I'll be happy with 1,
So any here?
1 here. Hole number 15. That's probably our nicest hole. Hardest par 3 here. It was a good shot. Bad weather. Got lucky.
But it goes a bit deeper than that, because I believe you told me after you hit the shot, you didn't know where the ball had gone.
True, because it was we get a lot of mist here, huh? So I hit the shot and there was a lot of mist. Couldn't see exactly where the flag was. I knew it was a good shot. And then just as the ball landed, it was like the fog cleared. I saw it go in the hole. I told my partner, he said, "Where's your ball?" I said, "It's in the hole." He said, "No, it's not." There was an argument all the way to the green. It was quite funny. And that guy's name was Nick Papel, a good friend of mine from here. Yeah, so it was a good story. Yeah.
So I play every week with the AVP of Finance, Devon. Devon, we need to get at least one before we leave this course, let alone this guy who's got 5.
Well, you're on the way right now.
So let me ask you this. There's people who will tune in who, I want to return to some of your favorite stories over the years, but people will always ask, what is the top 3 tips you can give people when either they're starting out or they're amateur or even they're getting towards the better part of their game? What are the biggest mistakes?
Well, stay on the driving range. Learn your basics. Learn how to hold it correctly. Learn how to stand correctly. Take lessons, you know. Get as much, gather as much. Don't go too much on the YouTube thing because there's too much information. Stick with one guy, you know, like find a guy you like, trust him or her, and then just keep working on it. You know, do it slowly. Don't see too many people going on the golf course too fast with no idea what they're doing. It doesn't work.
I remember you telling me that you should be able to complete an entire round with a 5 or 7.
Yes, I like people to go out there with a 7-iron or like a 7-iron, a wedge and a putter in the beginning, you know, just to get the feel of playing on the golf course. Don't go out there with a driver on the first hole. It's not going to work. First time 7-iron, do that for a few months, go down to a 5-iron, work down the bag, and then slowly get onto your woods. Usually after about 6 months, the best way to do it.
So Russell's the tallest guy I know in Malaysia. He's 6'3". He's also a massive hitter. So you used to be a long drive champion, correct?
Yeah, I won a car one time and I was the Austrian long drive champion, yeah. That was a long time ago, I was 27. Back in with wooden heads back then, steel shaft.
He still outdrives me by a considerable weight.
Well, he's very long. Huh? So yeah, that was a good, one of my highlights, I guess, was winning the car. Yeah, a Citroën, the French car. I remember that. Sold it the same day, even better.
Have you? You must have over the years gone out and played with some famous faces.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you talk about celebrities living in Palm Springs, there were celebrities all the time. I played. So probably the best 3-ball I ever played with was Jack Nicholson, Christopher Lee, and James Garner.
Wow!
In the Bel Air Country Club. That was a fun day. When I was in Palm Springs and Bel Air's in Los Angeles, it's a couple of hours away. The friends were saying, "Don't bother trying to go to Bel Air. You'll never get in." But I spoke to the head pro there, and he said, "Yeah, come out and play on Monday." So, of course, I went straight away. Monday, you're on the tee with Mr. Lee, Mr. Nicholson, and Mr. Garner. How about that? And I tell you, Christopher Lee was a really good player, like a 3 handicapper or a 2 handicapper. He was in his 70s then, but he'd been a really good player. You could see that. Jack Nicholson, just cool, very cool.
As you'd expect.
And James Garner was very sweet and very nice, huh? And I remember at the time, Callaway had just brought out the new golf clubs with graphite shafts. And Christopher Lee had been given a set. So, but the shafts had head covers all the way down to here, right? And I remember I was sat on the buggy with Jack Nicholson over here, and Jack Nicholson, he's got his feet up, he's got his glasses on, his head back, he said. He said to Christopher Lee, he said, "They're the sexiest golf clubs I've ever seen," right? And then James Garner said, "Yeah, safe golf." Safe golf. It was brilliant, right? These guys are so fun, smart, fast, quick, but all very sweet. It was a great day. Probably the greatest day I've had on the golf course with them.
And that's pretty special. I'm a massive Jack Nicholson fan. I think the first thing I managed to see him in was the Joker in Batman. But I'm even bigger. Anyone that knows me personally knows I'm obsessed with James Bond. I love all the films. I've collected all the books, and you're about to make me envious again because you've met James Bond, correct?
I've actually met 2 James Bonds.
Played with James Bonds.
Yeah, I played. First time I played with Sean Connery, I was like 18 in Aloha in Spain, because he was a member there and he played there all the time, right? And we used to go down there and practice down there quite a bit. And then, 12, 13 years ago, I played with George Lazenby. He was quite an Australian, and I don't know how the subject got on to James Bond, but he said, "Yeah, I was James Bond." Because I knew You know, I knew Roger Moore, and I didn't even know this guy had been James Bond, but I think he did like 1 or 2 movies, he told me. And he actually told me that, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but somehow he missed the start of the filming for the 3rd one, and so they cut him.
You know, so I've read about this, that they wanted him to do more,
Yeah.
but he ruled himself out.
Somehow he said he didn't do it.
Outside of acting, I'm always fascinated because in the UK, we know that a lot of EPL players are really, really good. Like the hand-eye coordination, you know,
Yeah.
Ryan Giggs is very close to a scratch player. Gareth Bale's a very famous scratch player. You ever played with any professional sportsmen that are non-golfers?
I did teach and play with Nassim Hamid, Prince Nassim, who on the TV looks like a little bit of a, you know, very arrogant, but he was like a little kid. He was so sweet, so nice.
And good?
Yeah. He was being taught by a guy called Mark Rowe, who was a European tour player that I remember playing in the North of England Youth Championship with Mark Rowe when we were like 17 or 18 years old back then. So yeah, it's quite funny that we both knew the same guy. So, but he was a very nice guy. I was quite shocked actually how sweet he was. He was a sweet guy.
That does surprise me with his on-screen persona.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, you have told me before that you used to train a local Malaysian who you say is going to be a big, big star of the future.
Yeah. I used to have a management company here, so we had quite a few players in the team, and they're all very talented actually, but the one, Gavin Green, is supposed to come to our company but didn't, but he is, I think he's going to be a real star. Yeah, Malaysian #1 right now, Asia Tour #1, I think he's a top 20 in Europe right now as it stands. So yeah, he's going to be a real talent.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And he hits it great, you know. And he's becoming more and more confident with his, so I can see a great future for him.
So what's your all-time favorite memories of your career so far?
All-time favorite memories. There's been so many. I mean, I think just meeting the people, you know, making the friendships. Everywhere I've been, you know, you meet a lot of nice people. They do a lot of nice things for you, and I think the friendships have been the most important thing of all, right?
You must have them all over the world.
Yeah. I tell you what, I wish I had Facebook 30 years ago, because it would be even better. Because I've lost touch with a lot of friends, right? Because you know, when you leave the country, you just sort of forget about it. But the new technology now, you can really, I mean, I've gone back and sorted friends with Facebook and these things, and you know, people I've lost contact with. So yeah, pretty good.
Who are the golfers that, if people are getting into the game now, you recommend they look at, study? Who are the new up-and-coming golfers that you think?
Swing-wise, I like Louis Oosthuizen, Tommy Fleetwood, those types of swings. You know, you can never go wrong watching them. They have great rhythm, great timing, a lot of power, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but those two are very, very good. Great to model your swing on. But I think you should also model your swing on size-wise. You know, if you're a small guy, then you should maybe just watch a small guy play. If you're a tall guy, you look for a guy like Ernie Els or someone like that, you know, to copy, you know, so.
I'm a big fan of Bryce DeChambeau purely because of the sheer distance that he can get.
Bryson, what he's doing is amazing. That's going to be the future game right there. With all this technology now, and I mean, I read a story about once there was a world long driving champion, and he'd only been playing golf like a couple of years, but I can't remember his name, but he was a javelin thrower. He's like a world-class javelin thrower. And from the TPI, the testing that they can do now in jumping and stretching, the guy was off the charts at jumping and stretching. So the guy said, you should play golf. He went and played golf. He became the world long driving champion in a couple of years. So you can do amazing things now with technology.
And one of the last pieces I want to ask you is, I talk to this with all my friends all the time. When I first started in my teenage years, my dad just gave me a set of clubs and I made the most of it, and I remember it being perfectly fine. Now we can go into shops like any sports, and people try and sell you all sorts of stuff. Often you tell me stuff you don't need. So when someone's selecting a set of clubs for the first time, what's your recommendation to them on how to pick up a set without the paranoia of, is this the right brand? Is this the right...
Again, it's, I don't advise people just going into the shops and just buying them. If you're sort of normal sized guy, it's, you know, or a lady, and then that's okay. Just make sure you get a golf club with a real big head in the beginning, right? For me, it's the shaft length is important. Right, you're tall, I'm tall, so we play extra long clubs. And lie, of course, the way the club sits. All that makes a huge difference, right? If that little part's wrong, you won't play good golf.
Is there a convenient way to judge the length of the club?
There's no convenient way, I don't think. I mean, club fitters know, you know, I mean, they can just, from experience, they just know what, like I knew what you needed to do straight away. So, no, I think club fitting is quite important, right? Of course, if you're very strong, you don't want to play graphites. If you're, you know, there's so much golf clubs on the market now. It's very difficult to find the right one. And I'm telling you, if you use the wrong golf club, it's like banging your head against the wall. You're not going to improve. So get lessons first, buy clubs later. Would be my advice.
Just briefly, if you could give us a little bit of an introduction to the home course we have here. I've been playing with you and Devon here for the last couple of months, really enjoying it. You explain it's a little bit more of a challenging course because it's very narrow.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful course because we're super fortunate with the weather we have here. You can go out at any time of the day and not have to avoid lunch times.
Lucky with I mean, Kuala Lumpur is very hot, as you know, and we can go, how far up is it? To the top of the mountain?
6,000.
It's quite cold, but we're right on that level of 20 to 25 degrees centigrade. Perfect for golf. The golf course, it's not a long golf course because it's it's built on the side of a mountain, right? So they didn't make it too long because the challenge is in the direction. It's very narrow. So we have a lot of jungle. We have a lot of lakes, and just basically keeping the ball in play is the key, and that's the hard thing for everybody.
We have a lot of wildlife as well. You can spot a lot of wildlife here.
We have a lot of monkeys. We actually have snakes, monitor lizards. I mean, we're in a jungle. You know, we're halfway up the mountain, but it's beautiful. I mean, just members know, and the guests know not to get too close to them. Monkeys, they tend to migrate across the golf course daily, so we have too many monkeys, but you know, we've just got to accept them, and we're in their neighborhood, huh? They're not
This is their home.
It's their home, correct, that's what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I mean, they're not going to reproduce this golf course because it's just, nowadays it would be too expensive to do it. I mean, it costs a lot of money to build in the first place. So I would love another 9 holes, but it's just not possible. It's a great spot.
And lastly, also, first of all, thank you so much for your time. I mean, I get the pleasure of hanging out with you in private, but it's great to share your experiences, your career, and some tips with the guys in Singapore, Malaysia, Vegas, and Hong Kong. If people do want to come and get lessons from you, if people do want to come and learn more or play here, what's the easiest way that they can reach out to you?
Well, you just call up the golf course, ask for the golf counter, and we'll give you directions from there. It's very simple.
I strongly recommend it. It's very easy to say, but I've personally gone out with Russell. In literally the space of 2 minutes, he altered 2 aspects of my swing. The ball went straight, 280 yards, and that was within a couple of weeks of replaying after 15 years. He is the real deal. And I strongly recommend if you want to take it up, you come here. It's cool weather. He's really good at his job and makes it all very matter of fact and super relaxed for you, which makes it really, really enjoyable. And if you're lucky and you get to play with him, he can do a couple of trick shots for you as well, which I've enjoyed. But Russell, thanks more than anything. Thank you for taking the time.
I appreciate it.
Good pleasure.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Sure.
Thank you.